Alright, we've done a lot of work with JQuery now, but we haven't had a big challenge yet. So we're going to have that in the next video where we'll be building a form validation system, which checks whether the user has entered a valid email address, for example, whether the password is complicated enough, and whether the various other fields in the form have met the standards that we need. That's a really useful thing to be able to do for our sign-up forms, or any form really where we need the data to be in a certain format in order to use it in our system. So to do form validation, we need to learn another topic which, like Ajax, is something that a lot of people find a bit mysterious and confusing, but it's really not once you get to grips with it. And that is regular expressions. So regular expressions are really just a way to check the format or the content of a string. So we could check that it has a number in it, for example, or that it looks like a date, or that it's a password with a certain level of complexity, or an email address, or anything else. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to move back to my local version of jQuery.html. There we go. Just makes things a little bit faster, and regex will work fine on your local machine. Okay, so let's get rid of the content because we're working in pure jQuery for the moment. So how does this work? Well, first off, we define our regular expression or our regex. And usually it's defined with slashes. So if, for example, I wanted to check for the word is in another string, then I would put is between two slashes like that. And that tells JavaScript in this case, actually, there's nothing jQuery specific about that line, that this is a regex that we can then use to match against some other string. So let's then create our string. I'm going to optimistically write regex is great. You might not believe it yet, but you will do very soon. And then what I need to do if I want to match these up is I use the jQuery match function. And again, this is something that you can do with normal JavaScript, but it's a lot easier to do with jQuery. So let's create our result. So that's just another variable. And to get that, we start off with string, and then we apply the match function to it. And the match function takes one parameter or variable, and that's the regex, so the expression. So what this means is match the string, regex is great, according to the regex variable, i.e. /is/. What it means in English is, does the word is appear in the string, regex is great. We obviously know the answer is yes, but it's nice to know that our computer can work it out as well. So let's have a look. Is. So it doesn't return quite true or false, it returns what it finds, and that is. So it searches for is inside our string and it finds it, so it returns it. If we add a couple of letters on the end there, so it's no longer part of our string, then it returns null. So that means that this regex is not matched with this string. We can do a little bit more. In fact, we can do a lot more, but I'm just going to show you a couple of extra things here. If we search with a capital G, by default that will return null because capital G REAT does not feature in this string. But if we wanted to do a case insensitive search, we would just pop an I flag at the end there, so after the second slash, and that will then do a case insensitive search, which will return great. And of course, if we could put capital E and a capital T for some reason there, and that would still match, but it would return GREAT. So it would return exactly what's in the string. Finally, we can also look for things that appear in the string more than once. So the letter E, for example. If we just run it as it is, then it will return a single E. So it will say, yes, E is present in the string. but we might want to know about every time that E appears in the string, or at least how many times it does. And if we want to do that, we use the /g for global, so the global flag, and that will then return every instance of this regex in the string. Let's take a look. There we go. So that's essentially a little array of E's to show every time we got a match between our string and our regex. So that's the basics of it. Regex is extremely powerful, and there's a lot more settings than what we've gone through there. But we'll cover many more of those in our jQuery challenge in the next video, where we'll be making a form validation system.